What do you think it is that separates someone like you who's genuinely just gets great joy about your community involvement and another agent who markets it but isn't as invested as you are?
Most people aren't consistent. Consistency is a superpower. So I'm consistent with what I do. I'm consistent with the initiatives that I'm a part of. Even in our negotiations, like just coming from more caring and heart, listening to people.
Hey everyone, welcome to No Like Trust for Real Estate, where I help you craft branding and marketing strategies that align with your unique strengths. I'm Christine George, and agents who work with me grow their business on average by 40% by aligning their marketing with who they are, not what they sell. Today's episode is all about serving clients through community. I'm so excited about today's guest. Corrie Harding-Keizs is with us today. She is the broker and team leader for CHK Real Estate, a Royal LePage team in downtown Toronto, South Mississauga, South Oakville, and South South Etobicoke. That's a tough one. Her entire business model is built on community-centric activities, and she has some real community programs that she's going to be talking about today and how she serves her clients through those programs. So get ready and help me welcome Corrie. Corrie, I'm so excited to have you here on the pod. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Christine.
Absolutely. I'm super excited to talk about community because that is so much about how you run your business. The first thing I want to ask you is, when it comes to community, what was the opportunity that you saw when you first sort of started thinking about what community meant to you? What was that opportunity that you saw that probably most agents miss?
It started honestly with coming from a place of curiosity. So I had, when I started my real estate business, I wasn't as community focused in all honesty, but as I transitioned and got more experience and we actually moved into an area that is very community focused, I was just at a different stage maybe in my life and my business where I really wanted to learn about where I'm planting my roots and where I call home and where I'm going to raise my family. So it came from that, honestly. And I just started to, we used to have an event called Mix After 6 in the community that I live in, focused on Port Credit, Mississauga. And I started going just to kind of learn more about the businesses. It wasn't real estate focused. It was more coming from a place of curiosity. And I think that comes, that's where the genuine aspect comes from. Like, I wasn't going there with a purpose. I was going there from that. And then the purpose came later. And what transpired from creating those organic relationships kind of, evolved into something that was even better than I'd ever thought could be, or was very unplanned.
So it wasn't planned at all. You just sort of grew into it.
I grew into it. And now there's things that have been planned. Like I actually just posted an episode this morning of my series called Rooted.
Love your series called Rooted. Can I just say that? It's on YouTube. So, and we'll put that in the show notes because I want everybody to go check that out.
Yeah, so we do like the short form on Instagram, but the long form video where I'm actually sitting down, it's the full length, is on YouTube. I link to both. And that was just I'll call that a passion project. So that's something that I planned to do pre-pandemic. And I'm like, you know what? I really want to do something different. It's not about me. It's about the businesses that I love and support and that make our community what it is. How about I do this series where I'm interviewing them and I'm getting to know them? Why Port Credit? Why did they, establish here? All those things. So we were roughly planning it out, and then the pandemic happened. So it just came to a big halt, obviously. Yeah. And then afterwards, life just got busy. The business got busy. The team got busy, and it just never brought it back into reality. And 2025, I decided this is the year that I greenlight this project, this passion project. And it's been very well received. It's a lot of work. I'm actually shooting Thursday this week, my next 2 episodes. It's a commitment, but it's a feel good. For me, this kind of thing is like a feel good, and the relationships and the network has built is kind of like a byproduct of that involvement.
You're a top producer. You have a fairly large team. How large is your team?
You know what? We're not large. We're boutique. So there are 7 of us, actually 8 if you include like our virtual assistant, and that's by choice. So I have had a bigger team. I have been, partnered with a bigger team, but at this stage of my career in business, I just really want to work with like-minded people that, want to be top producers, have an element of community in them as well. So everyone that works on my team was attracted to the brand. That was part of the reason.
So 7, yes, boutique-ish. It's significant enough. It's like you're just a team of 2 or 3. But okay, so many questions, Corrie. So
how do you do it? Real estate team, community, rooted. It's a lot.
And I love Rooted too, because you're Canadian, and there's the amazing, chain store called Roots, which I discovered years ago.
I didn't even think about that when I chose the name, to be honest with you, but no, I didn't. And that's funny that you say that, because I'm like, I just wanted something like I bounced between things, and I didn't want too long of a name. It just is like, rooted in the community. Like because that's how I felt. I put roots down here. This is where I want to stay and grow and raise my family and all the things.
It's beautiful. And so it started out as a passion project. How many years have you been doing it?
No, this is the first year for that. So my community involvement has been many, many years. The series is new.
The series is fairly new. So the capitalist in me is like, okay, you do all of this community work. Are you seeing a return on that investment? But the real question is like, that's not why you do it. Like you don't do all of this community involvement so that you can get a return on that investment. But I think it's a byproduct. Am I right?
I didn't go out there with that intention. I knew that being out in the community and being that face of the community would probably lead to something like that or whatnot. But that wasn't the focus. It was more curiosity and wanting to learn where I was putting my roots down. And then, yes, there's definitely a byproduct of, you combine that with a top 1% real estate team, right? So not only are we community focused, we have, our hashtag is CHK Gives, but we're also like, we can also sell real estate, and we do a really good job at it.
So we go back to the beginning. You got started in some of your community efforts because you had this curiosity. From there, like, how did it grow? You started out in real estate. You got curious about the community. You wanted to tie the two together. Of course, it makes sense because real estate agents are the face of their community. How did it actually grow? Because I know you're involved in a lot of different community efforts, and I want to hear about those as well.
Yeah, so it grew just by being curious, right? So that's how it all started. And then from there, I started to build relationships organically. When I started my career, it was different. I was downtown Toronto. It was a very different type of business. And then when I moved to South Mississauga, it's a very different business over here where it's definitely more relationship focused. And with that, I wanted to get to know the community. So over time, doing those things, I started to create relationships and friendships. And then my kids go to school there. So I started to meet people at the school. And then that led to me joining the Linwood Community Association at my kids' school and hosting like these huge Christmas Santa picture events, Halloween, doing other things in the community. We do like skate in the park. Then I built relationships at the gym that was local. And that turned into me meeting someone that was also involved in the community, saw what I was doing. And, there's a do I mesh with this person? Do I like them? That asked me to be involved in a bigger element of a community initiative, which I ended up being the co-chair on that years later. But I ended up being invited to be a part of that. And it felt good. And I was giving back to a community that I wanted to grow in and evolve in. And it just kind of skyrocketed from there. And I'm a doer, so I'm a good person to have on your team because I execute. So that's been helpful too. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to follow through. So I'm definitely someone like that. So when you are like that, people can rely on you. And when people can rely on you and they know how you operate, you're going to be invited to do more things. I don't just put my logo on an event and not attend it. Ever. I make sure that I'm there and I have some kind of presence there. Like it's important for me to experience the events that, my brand is going to be a part of. So it kind of evolved from there. And it was really organic. And one thing led to the other. And the other, and it was just such a feel good. And it was like, it grew me quite a network and friend group as well to this day. I was out at an event yesterday. My friend hosted an event on this new business in Port Credit, actually, where you can rent this boat for half the day or whatnot. And you have like a captain, and she's a community friend. And everybody that was on there were people where we've formed these relationships over however amount of time, and we're still friends. And it's just a very special group that was organically just happened from this place and that place.
What I love about what I'm hearing from you is that you find just so much joy in all of these organizations that you're a part of, and the experiences and the events that you go to support them. You've grown your friend group. You've grown, obviously, your reputation in the community as somebody they can rely on who can help. Obviously, that's also helped in parallel to grow your business. And the reason that I love that is because I feel like, and I want to hear your opinion on this, I feel like so many agents do what they think they're supposed to do to grow their business. And so many of those things just aren't in alignment with what brings them joy or what they're passionate about or what they're good at or what they're skilled at. And so they don't do a great job of them. Either they put them off, they procrastinate them, or they don't do them well. But what I see you doing is completely just leaning into the type of work and passion that brings you joy. And it just so happens that also helps to grow your business.
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, the growing of the business organically happened because, when people get to know you and you have a footprint in the community and a face of authority, because, being involved in certain things does create that, which wasn't the goal either, but it kind of happened. People are going to also look at you. Everyone's curious about real estate.
Yes.
And we're selling a lot of real estate and we're vocal about it on Instagram. I think we do a pretty good job with that marketing as well to show who we are and what we do in a non-salesy, cheesy way. I'm really against that kind of marketing. And then the community stuff, which is a feel good and a passion project. And I love doing it. Yes, people will eventually talk to you about real estate because it naturally connects and they know, like, and trust you based off what they've seen you doing. And it's, and seeing your results. And also, I'm working a very small area for these efforts. So my community efforts are in the area I live, are in the area that I farm. Realtors, we know what farming means. It means like we're focused on us. And that doesn't mean I don't sell outside of that area, but you see our signs up, you see our postcards, you see our logo on an event, you see us at the event. We're in the mix. During the pandemic, one of the community initiatives that I was a part of kind of created a new initiative under that umbrella called Feed Mississauga. And the initiative, under those things was fighting hunger, feeding hope, empowering people in need. There was such a need for people that needed help with hunger during the pandemic. We were delivering like meals every weekend. I don't even know how I was doing it. Like I look back and I'm like, whoa. But we were, that was just like, we just all went in to like give back at a different kind of level and, taking time to do that because it felt good, but it made a difference to the community and made a difference to my brand and growing my brand for sure.
Would you say you're known as the community realtor in your market? Okay.
100%.
Okay.
100%. And even my video today, I interviewed someone that's very well known in the Port Credit community who is a friend as well. And I've known for years just from supporting his events and initiatives over the years, right? Like I'm not all about myself. Like I do support other people's things and show up. So that's organically created these relationships. It's just, what's been really rewarding this year, in all honesty, with the Rooted series back there, because that's something different. That's like interviewing, showing up with my crew and planning and editing after. Like it's not easy. It's a lot.
Yes.
Is learning their story.
Yes.
It's not about me. I'm not talking about Corrie the Realtor. I'm genuinely interested in their story. And I'm learning things about people that I've known for years. And I'm like, I did not know that.
Isn't so beautiful, awesome. Corrie? Ugh.
It's so beautiful. Like I'm getting goosebumps right now, and it's going to likely strengthen those relationships, right?
Yes.
But yes, when you're giving back and you do a good job at real estate, people will naturally talk to you at some point about real estate. That's just the gift. That wasn't the goal. That's the gift.
Here's a receipt from my favorite restaurant. Normally, this is the kind of thing that ends up in my pocket, then my car, then gone. Not anymore. All I do is take a picture and text it to B. That's it. No app to open, no category to select, nothing to fill out. I just sent a text. And here's what comes back. B already pulled the amount, the vendor, the date, and the category, straight from the receipt. If anything needs to be adjusted, I just reply in plain English. But this looks right, so I'll just say, done. Now, if I want to see everything in one place, every receipt, every category, a full report, I go to my portal at my.beekeeper.ai. Here's my dashboard. Every expense I've texted in is right here, organized, categorized, ready to go. I can see the full history, filter by date or category, and when I'm ready, I can run a report and have it sent straight to my inbox. Clean records, no scrambling. Ready for my bookkeeper or my CPA whenever they need it. That's Beekeeper. Snap, text, done. For more information and to sign up, go to beekeeperai.com.
Oh my God, that wasn't the goal. That was the gift. I love that. Oh my God. Okay, so walk me through the initiatives that you're most involved in. I want to learn a little bit about what those are. You mentioned Feed Hunt Mississauga.
Yeah. So I started doing the Linwood Community Association, and I'm not on that anymore, but I was at my kids' school, and that was about the area that we lived in and giving back and whatnot. And then I was on the executive team for Twas the Bite Before Christmas and co-chair, and that's where the initiative for Fighting Hunger, Feeding Hope, Empowering People in Need. That's the initiative for that. And over, the course of the year, there were several events that we would host for like the turkey dinner for Christmas, huge event, ladies' night, men's night, all kinds of different things. And the Feed Mississauga was born under Twas the Bite during the pandemic. So they're under, they're kind of like two of the same. So those were the main ones. And I still support them, by the way. I am part of all those initiatives in some form or fashion. And now I'm doing the Rooted series, which is my form of give back. So that's like that's a different angle this year. This is something I've wanted to do for many years. Let's execute on this. It's a give back in a different way. I'm not charging anyone to do it. I'm responsible for all those costs. I'm taking time to prepare and to show up and to be on camera.
Yeah.
So and I don't know what that's going to evolve to, but it feels really darn good. I'll tell you that. Our brokerage, like the Royal LePage brand, which is a Canadian brand, is one of the only real estate companies with their own foundation. It's called the Shelter Foundation, and it's for domestic violence. That is just like, of course you're involved in a brokerage that has that arm. Like we can do different events for those initiatives as well. And what I love about Royal LePage having that is you can focus on the areas where those facilities are in your communities. So it's not like there's just like, oh, it's here in Ontario or Vancouver. Like it would be focused on, the shelters or whatnot in the communities that you're a part of. So
Nice.
That really spoke to me as well. And I'm like, I really, really love that. I love that to have that element. So a portion of all the commissions, realtor fees, whatever you want to call them, that we do, we dedicate a portion of that to go towards the Royal LePage Shelter Foundation.
Amazing.
So that's another part. That's another give back. It's just to feel good.
Yeah.
And it's something that we talk about, like even in our listing presentations when we go there, like in our seller guide, for instance, I do have a section on there about CHK Gibbs. And I tell them, this isn't real estate focused. I want you to know who we are and how we operate and what community means to us. Because I think when you do that and you include that, people they want to know the authentic you and they want to be able to relate with you. So I think the more real I am with people and my clients or potential clients, the more likely that they're going to want to work with me, or that, they'll see how we're different in comparison to other realtors or teams or whatnot. So I do include it just to show them who we are.
What do you think it is that separates someone like you who's genuinely just gets great joy about your community involvement and another agent who markets it, but, isn't as invested as you are.
You can always tell, I think. I think consistency, most people aren't consistent. Consistency is a superpower. Consistency is very important to me with the people I choose to be in business with, so I know how important it is. So I'm consistent with what I do. I'm consistent with the initiatives that I'm a part of, and when I'm a part of them, I'm consistent with the results and what my role is in those initiatives.
Yeah.
So that makes a really big difference. So when you're like that, people are more likely going to include you in things or want you in things. Also coming from a place, like I think what really stands out in comparison to others or the average or the generic realtor is coming from a place of heart, leading with heart, even with our clients, especially right now in the world and the environment that we are in, even in our negotiations, like just coming from more caring and heart, listening to people, right? Versus being transactional. We're doing a lot of transactions, but coming from like, I tell people relationship based. That's why we're a 5-star Google reviewed real estate team. That's really hard to maintain. We do because we're relationship based, not transactional based. And that's important to us. So leading with heart is a big one. And showing up in the community like that as well, where you genuinely have an interest in the initiatives that you put your name in and that you're a part of. Because if you're just looking to put your logo up, that's not me. And there's a lot of that, I think. There's a lot of that just slapping like what the sponsorship is and, your name's on there. But when you're a part of it and you're part of the creation and the doing it, and that's what makes the difference. And it's not for everybody. You don't have to give back you don't have to have a focus on that. If you don't enjoy it, don't do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Just don't do it. And that's okay.
It's like find your thing. Find your thing.
Find your thing. Oh, another initiative I forgot to mention, and this is a big one, is we do an annual yard sale in our farming area, which is where I live.
Oh, how fun.
So what we do is we host it, and I actually host at my house. And then anyone that wants to sign up the same day, they do it at their house. We all host at the same time. I do all the marketing. I put directional signs all over the area. Yard sale the first Saturday of June from 9 to 1. Takes a lot to create. We door knock, we canvas. We do a little, ad on social media or Craigslist. We just want to get people to come through. So that day, we made it kind of into like a community event, street party. So at my house, we're set up with our tent. I'm actually like bringing yard sale stuff out. Like I'm participating in it. My kids get involved in it. A community friend, another business got involved with me and had an ice cream truck. So we try to have fun with it.
Yeah.
And then what we do is, we go around to every house before the yard sale and we put a yard sale sign on their house. So we have directionals in the area, the sign in front of their house. Who do you think picks up all these signs afterwards? Us. Like it's a lot of work. And I'll tell you something, Christine, I didn't do that this year because, I was renovating my house and not living at my house. And it was really hard for me because I'm like, I'm not living at my house. I won't be there because it's always the first Saturday of June. How am I going to do this? And I'm going through a rental. It's just feeling overwhelming. And like, I'm going to come over and like, I'm not really living there. So I didn't do it. Let me tell you how many people message me in the community. And I'm like, I should have done it still.
Yeah.
I just explained that I'm going through a rental. So I'm not actually living in the house. And I'm like, I kind of regretted just not, executing it. But it was something that, are you hosting that annual yard sale? And that has created relationships in some business. And it's just like a fun thing. You're going around. So my team gets involved. We all, I sign, okay, who's putting up the signs, who's removing the signs, because we take them down the day the event ends. We do not leave them up because that, people don't like that.
Yeah.
And then we send out, a thank you email for participating. And but so we do all the organization. So the goal is that everyone's going to have a lot of traction because a lot of us are doing it on the same day. And then the byproduct is I have a lot of signs up in the area as a realtor, right?
Yes.
So, you're that authority in the market because, you're giving back and that feels good. It's fun, so you're getting exposure. So it's all kind of tying together. So I won't miss it again.
Yeah, don't miss it again because it sounds too like you have a little fun with your
people. I felt like I let people down. I felt guilty.
Yeah, I bet you did. I know. But that isn't a big undertaking. Any event you plan, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. You do it.
It is a lot of work. It is a lot of work. But when you're doing it often or it becomes like an annual thing, you can kind of like plug and play.
Yes.
But I just at the time when I had to make the final decision, I felt like I couldn't execute at the level that I usually would given the scope of what I was involved in with my reno.
Let's talk about, I'm curious, you have this team of 7 plus your virtual assistant. How do you actually go about recruiting and hiring and training agents and staff to align with your community values and how important that is to not just you, but how you operate in the community and your business? How do you go about doing that, making sure that they are, really owning that part of it?
The people that are on my team have organically joined my team and approached me, to be honest with you. So I was partnered with another real estate team prior, and then I made a decision to go back on my own and have my own team and get really, go even further with the community and that involvement. So they were organically attracted to it. So they have a like and a love for it as well. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't, it's hard to be a part of that. And then it is part of, like, we do talk about it with like our, inside CHK and getting to know us. But a lot of people that are attracted to working with us are attracted to that element of the CHK brand is the give back, and they want to give back in their own way as well. So one of my team members sails. So he's part of like the Port Credit sailing community, and now he became a sponsor of that this past summer. That's really amazing to see my agents pick up their own initiatives.
Yeah.
Based on, you're kind of leading by example, I think. So
yes.
When people, because it's not for everybody to do community initiatives or to be involved in the community, right? So if you're building a team where that is a passion of the team, you have to make sure you're in business with like-minded people that also want to have a passion in that and build their own passion within that.
I want to know, you talked earlier about your seller guide. I like take for example, you're going to a listing appointment, and let's say you're competing with 2 other agents. What do you like? How do you bring in the community conversation? Is it something you lead with? Is it something that's just sort of a byproduct of your presentation or your conversation? And do you find that it's a big point of differentiation so that, people who are like-minded, will say, hey, this woman really cares about our community, so we're going to hire her?
Good question. So I don't lead with it because typically when someone's looking to sell their house or considering it, they really want to know like who you are and how you're going to do it. Who are you? How are you going to sell my house, and how quickly and for how much, right? Like really, like they want to get down to the nitty gritty. We do incorporate it within our seller guide, but we have like a sequence of what we go through first before we get to that part of it. So I'll typically start with, who we are and our values, etc., the steps to selling, how we sell, blah, blah, blah. And then I get into like the who we are part, kind of closer to the end, but before I talk about pricing, because I want them to understand like who we are and what's important to us. Now, that doesn't resonate with everybody. Some people are just all about the numbers and those things, and that's what's important to them. But for some people, they like that element and it makes a difference. But I talk about it regardless because it's important to me and it's a part of what our brand is. So I will talk about it. But if I'm going in to speak to someone that knows me from the community and I've gotten an opportunity to potentially help them with their real estate goals, then we'll kind of chat about it and typically have something, a common memory or place that we, did something or saw each other at. So that makes it really amazing too. Like I love those connects.
As we start to wrap up, Corrie, I'm curious for an agent listening who maybe doesn't have a team yet and maybe doesn't have a large budget, but has a passion for community. How would you suggest they get started?
First of all, consider if it's really what your interest is and passion is, or if you're just doing it for the wrong reasons, right? If it's like, and you have to make sure you have the time for it because it does take time, right? Like that's the thing. I have gotten over my head sometimes where I'm like, I'm involved in too much. I'm doing too much. Got to scale back. Like I have been there, right? Because I'm a doer and I take on a lot. And then sometimes I'm like, got a lot going on. So just make sure that you have the bandwidth for it as well. But also that it's something that you want to pursue consistently. Like just don't drop off. Like if you're going to do it, do it. So figure out what your why is, the why you want to be involved and how that looks. Because there's different ways to give back and be involved in things. So me, it was like genuine interest in being involved in my kids' school and getting to know other families there in this area that we wanted to grow and put roots down in, right?
Yeah.
So there was a genuine interest in that, and then started to learn about different initiatives and get involved in those. So I just really consider like what your why is, what your bandwidth is. You could just start off with like a community yard sale, like do something small. Like it doesn't have to be big. Also start small. It's the same thing with farming. Just start small and start really niche and then do a good job at that. And then once you do that, people will start asking you because they've seen you done a good job that you'll just organically be asked to be involved in things. So that would be my advice for someone considering getting involved in some kind of community outreach.
Yeah. That's great advice. If you had to name one thing your community work has given back to you that no advertising could, what would it be?
A sense of belonging and connection. That's what yesterday was about with my friend, who's now embraced people within my team that have met my community connections through me. It's just a beautiful thing to see. But that belonging, that connection, those relationships, that's been the give back that I didn't expect. That's been really, really good. Like these are lifetime relationships now.
Corrie, you're so inspiring. You have raised your children, built an incredible boutique team, real estate team, and built this amazing community involvement across so many different organizations. And now you're doing Rooted. I mean, I'm really in awe of what you've accomplished. And and I'm so honored that you came onto the podcast today. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram. So it's Corrie Harding_Keizs, Keis. That would be like the number one place. That's where I'm showing up. My website is CorrieHarding-Keizs.com. Corrie spelled Corrie. My email is Corrie@CorrieHardingTeam.com. And I respond. I'm very responsive. I'm still raising my family. My kids are only 13 and 15. So that's the other thing, right? Like they've been involved in that community give back too, which has been really nice for them to see that side. And
what a great example for your children.
Yeah. Really. Yeah. But that's where people can find me.
Thank you so much for being here. I'm just, it's just been such a pleasure having you.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much for listening. If you loved our conversation, I would love it if you would share this episode with a friend. If you are listening on your favorite podcast app, make sure to follow us. And if you're watching on YouTube, click that subscribe button so you never miss another episode. Sign up for our weekly newsletter, The Sunbeam. Go to postandbeamcreative.com and sign up. You're listening to Know Like Trust for Real Estate, and I'm your host, Christine George.